and gentlemen, out of Jamaica, give it up for Dubwise.
Welcome back to the network, guys. For those persons who are joining us for the first time, I am Chris Bailey. Also, if you're here and you're viewing for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe icon right now. Come on, hit that subscribe icon and also like this video. Thanks for joining us. Our next guest on the Music Hacks Network is Mr. Robert Dubwise Browne. Let's welcome him at this time. Dubs.
Greetings, 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 greetings.
Yes, sir. Bless up and welcome to the Music Hacks Network.
Give thanks, Father. Give thanks for having me. Give thanks.
Yes, man. It is quite an honor to have such a high-class musician as you on the network this evening.
I'm sure you say that to all the guests.
Definitely, all the guests are high class in their own rights, and you know that you are definitely one of the top musicians in Jamaica, and it's great to have you on the network this evening.
Yeah, man. Well, give thanks for the compliment. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you and your program, and what you're doing for musicians, in the country, and for the culture, really, because you're exposing a lot of talent that a lot of people don't know about. You know what I mean? So give thanks for that. It's a good thing.
Yes, man, and trust me, I admire the humility because you could have said no. Being the musician that you are, that we view you as, you could have said no, that you won't be on this program, but you took the initiative and you accepted, and we are truly grateful for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, why would I turn down the opportunity for help grow something that is doing good for musicians? Because one of the things to me is I love young musicians. I love musicians who are learning, who are growing, and who always want to grow. And
Right.
I think your program is geared towards inspiring even youngsters to play, and to see who is playing with who and who is doing what and how they do what they do. So I
Most
mean, it's a privilege and an honor to be a part of that.
definitely, bro. In the intro, it was quite an energetic performance. Can you tell us where you guys were performing in
No.
that intro clip?
No, I have no idea. I am really bad with dates and places. I just know that I stopped my GoPro and the camera for most shows, and I don't record where it was or anything. I have no idea where that was. But I was
Okay.
obviously with Shaggy and the band, Match That Band, but I have no idea where that was or when it was. It was probably 2017, I assume. Yeah. Could be 2017, 2018.
Okay, cool. Who were some of the other musicians that were with the Shaggy's band at the time?
On that specific show we had, the bass player that was there with me was Dave Richards. He lives in Florida now, but he's a Jamaican same way. He used to play with Yellowman for years before he started playing with us.
Okay.
Drummer Mark Sean Darson, drummer, he's been in the band as long as I have been too. And I think on that show it was Kevin Webster playing keyboards, and if you
Okay.
and there's this other guy, this big, this white guy. Up to now, I don't know if him white or a mix or what. Drew, he was
Okay.
playing. He was running electronics and
Okay.
second keys, but his main role was to run Ableton electronics because we run tracks
Awesome.
along with the band.
Right.
But he
Um.
unfortunately passed last year.
Oh, my condolences, bro, on that.
Yeah, yeah, give thanks.
Right. But I realized that Shaggy called you out for a solo. What was going through your mind at that time when he called you out? If you can remember.
Should I? No, well, the same thing every night because every night when we play that specific song, we play that song in certain regions where we go, and every night is like, all right, how am I gonna do this now? Really and truly. But I mean, it's something I've been doing a while, meaning that particular song and that particular solo. So a lot of times it's just second nature. Is just like, okay, let's do this now. So it's by now what happened to me is like, how can I make this solo more interesting or play it different than I've been doing it for the past so many years? But
Okay.
nothing really got through my mind as per se when approaching the solo.
Okay. All right. I must testify this afternoon that I have been following you for many years. I didn't actually know who Dubs was at the time. I've seen you on the internet and stuff like that. I don't remember if I saw you once at Edna Mali. But the thing that grabbed my attention, you have a unique guitar that I really like, and I have a picture of that guitar in my room, right? And that guitar is a Parker Flyer because not many persons have that guitar. How did you get that guitar?
Funny. I bought this one in particular, the red one. I
Right,
I bu-
right.
I, I bought it at my guitar center in LA actually. Yeah, in what was that? I think it was 99. From 99, I have this guitar. And why I
Okay.
bought it was funny thing. The guitarist that used to play for Shaggy before me had one. He played a gold one, and the first time I saw them perform was in Jamaica in '96, and I admired the band. Them time that it was Fletcher, Castic, and Birch, and this Yankee youth, him named Roberto. He was playing guitars. Robert Zapata, so he was on guitars and he played a Parker. And I remember when I was in high school when the Parker just came out, I saw videos with it, and I'm like, yo, the guitar and I see, and it
Yes,
it
man.
just it just leave my mind. I forgot about it until I saw him with it. And when I was at the sound check, I don't remember who I was playing with at the time. I think it was Damian Marley. I did a show with Damon. I was playing with Junior Gang at the time. So we had played before Shaggy, but we got there for the sound check. And we and them were there at the same time for the sound check. So I'm going to go over to him and, start talking to him. See that guitar? And 2 years later, it turns out I started playing with Shaggy. And I figured it was a nice guitar and we just one by one. So funny enough, I wasn't on tour with Shaggy when I bought it because that year Shaggy wasn't doing much and I ended up on the road with Bujo. So when I was on the road with Bujo Bantan is when I bought this red Parker. Since then I got another one
Oh,
from
you
a
have two Parkers now.
country. I have
Or you see, I tell you, there has to be something special about these, man. You
Yeah,
know,
man,
first,
they feel nice and them so nice, And
right.
what I particularly loved about them was they have the Fishman pizza pickup in the bridge, so it gives you an idea of almost simulating an acoustic guitar, you know. But unfortunately, over the years, the pickups went bad, and right now, as I told you earlier, the company is out of business, so we can't even get parts, we can't get no repairs done.
Wow.
Because I sent out I have a yellow, orange, them call it butterscotch, transparent butterscotch. It's orange-ish, and I sent that to get repaired last year. It cost me some only per US dollars, and I get it back and it still not work. So you can't even trust the people who you sell
Okay.
it to now, because the company is out of business, so parts hard to get. So, and people say them can fix them,
Right.
and them not fixing them, because the electronic system in these guitars is not standard. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I have to go switch up real soon. Well, me start the
Cool.
process of thinking to switch already. So yeah.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. How many other guitars do you have along with the Parker?
You know, the amount of guitars don't matter, you know, it's the role of each guitar that counts.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so I mean, I won't give you a number, but let's just say if I'm in a situation, particularly to the sessions, because I think that is where it matters most, when you have options and variety. So if I get a studio session now, may have enough to draw from to suit any song and any genre. Let's put it there.
All right. You said enough. So I will just assume a number that you have many to suit all the different styles, and there are a lot of styles. So all right, fair enough. All right, Dubs. I knew that you grew up in a musical family. All right. A lot of top musicians in your family. All right. I'm going to ask you to just mention a few of them and tell us what does that mean to grow up among so many greats.
Well, I can mention all of them because it's not 100 of them. So I have Glenn Browne, who is my father, bassman, top bassist in Jamaica, and play for Taros now.
Right.
Back in the day, Ziggy Marley, Lucian, and Jimmy Cliff. Clevie Brownie from the duo Steely and Clevie. The name Steely and Clevie speak for itself. If you don't know Steely and Clevie, go listen to 80s dancehall and 90s dancehall. Danny
Right.
Brownie, my other uncle, he Main Street Records, you know, Red Rat, General Degree, all of them, him produced, all of them produced and managed the whole era of dancehall in the late mid to late 90s. Noel Brownie was in the whole Big Ship camp, but he migrated. But he was one of the first, if you know of Castro Brown and New Name Studio. Castro Brown is the one I think that Boss Lady saw. So Noel Brown, my uncle, was the producer at Castro Brown's studio, the studio named New Name Music. He migrated. And then now Dalton Brownie, who passed away last year, guitarist, Freddie McGregor for umpteen years, and musical director for his band as well. So that's the Brownie Bunch, really. They call themselves the Brownie Bunch for real. They had a band and all of that. So
Whoa.
yeah, so that is the
So,
family.
yeah. But what was that like, you
Oh,
growing up
I never answered
among
that
these
question.
guys?
It's funny, you know, because sometimes how you grew up is like it's normal to you, so it's not like you're there and wowed by being around the greats, because it's just Uncle Danny that or Uncle Clevie that, you know, is when you get older and you see the respect what, you know, the world has for them is like, oh, Zine, I grew up in that kind of thing, you know. um, I used to watch them rehearse in their living room, you know, as a kid. You
Okay.
know, I never lived with my father, but my brother and I used to visit him all the time. And there'll be times where
Okay.
they've set up in their living room and them just rehearsing and singing and playing music all along. So it was just a part of our daily life, pretty much. So
Right.
me and my brother, I don't know if you
All
know
right.
about.
So,
Mhm.
yo, continue.
Now I was saying, I don't know if you know that I have a twin brother named Shams. Them call him
No,
Shams.
that's first I'm learning that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're identical twins. So people always mistake us
Whoa.
for each other. So both of us,
Okay.
he plays bass, and he was producer and manager for TOK throughout TOK's heyday, pretty much. So we couldn't escape it. You know, there was no other way for us to go other than in the same path that, you know, daddy and our uncles took.
Okay. All right. So that was your main roots. Were there any other influences that help you to sort of want to get into music? Any
Um,
external inspirations?
External would be like, long after the decision or the vibe was already instilled. Because as I said, we used to grow up seeing them play and things. So my brother and I started out very young. Before we reached like 10, my brother played bass, I was playing drums. So it's just something that we did, you know what I mean? But outside of that now, the older I got, when I switched to guitars, my um I used to go to rehearsals a lot with my father. So I can say for guitar, outside of being influenced by my two uncles, because I said Danny Browne was Main Street Records and the producer and all of that. But I never mentioned that he was a guitar player too. He is a guitarist. So
All right.
outside of, and he was in the Bloodfire Posse. Anybody remember that group, the Bloodfire Posse? He
Whoa,
was a
yes, man.
producer and
Right.
guitarist in that band. So Uncle Dalton and Uncle Danny are two very strong and distinct guitar players. Once you hear them play, you know it's them playing. So fast forward now to me being a teenager now, I used to go rehearsals with my father when he, particularly when he was with Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. So there now I got turned on to a different style of music, which is reggae, Bob Marley. Before that, any little thing, but when I started listening to Earl China Smith, who was the guitarist in Ziggy's band, and Busy Ian Coleman. So China Smith and Ian Coleman, when I went to rehearsals, those two were like the other influences, the outside influences. Then I started listening to Bob Marley and got into Junior Marvin and Al Anderson. So I would say
Right.
those four guitarists really were the outside influences besides my family while growing up. And then obviously as I grew up, I started listening to like George Benson, Norman Brown, Lee Retner and all those people.
Right. All right. Cool. That's some major influences there. But I'm sure you have your own sound listening to you. I tend to ask musicians this particular question on the show to describe their own unique sound. And a lot of persons tend to shy away from it. I don't know why, but I'm gonna ask you tonight to describe your sound to us dubs. Who do you think
You
you
know,
sound like, or what's your unique sound?
well, the first I would say I sound like me. Excuse me, I sound like myself, and it's because I've heard that so many times. People always say, "Yo, you just sound like yourself." I know when it's you playing, kind of thing. So I can't say I sound like anybody else, but I can't really describe my own sound. It's I see why other people shy away from it because it's a tough question. Well, to describe how you
Yeah,
play, but what I'd say is my sound is a, what do I call it, a melting pot or a mixture of all my influences. So I remember
right, right.
I played on a Morgan Heritage song, and a guy, what him name, Earl, I don't remember his name, but China Smith's son heard the record and him say, "Yo, I see him think my father would have play. That's exactly what daddy would play." So
Oh,
there are times when I draw from all the influences. So my sound is a mixture of everybody who I've listened to over the years. My uncles, China Busy, from Lee Rhett and all of them. So it's a whole mixture of all my influences roll into one, and that's who I am, pretty much.
fine. Cool. I remember speaking to Shartman on this program, and Sharman told us that he has a specific influence for each genre. Is that the same thing for you?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But so for reggae, it would be the Bob Marley's guitarist. So from China Smith, Alan Nelson Jr., Marvin, those people, my uncles definitely. And for jazz type thing, I particularly prefer the white guitarists. So Lee Rettenauer, Larry Carlton, Chuck Loeb, um, rock would be Steve Vai and Satriani. But first and foremost, Jimi Hendrix, because there was a period of my life when it's like Jimmy was the king. Jimmy was everything.
Yes,
So for that
definitely.
genre, is like Jimi Hendrix, Satriani, and Steve Vai. I never tried playing or swatting anything that Joe and Steve did. I just listen to them a lot, so I get the vibe. But as far as practicing the techniques and all of that, in all honesty, I'm too lazy for that. So I never went there. I never went there. You know.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right, I know the guys on Zoom. I don't want to ask you the questions that they're going to ask, because I know they have their questions to ask. Persons who are joining us on Zoom and YouTube. But let's look now into your career as a pro guitarist. Who are some of the persons that you actually worked for over the years? Some of the main persons. I'm sure it's a lot, but just give us some of the main ones.
All right. Well, I mentioned Shaggy already. I've been with Shaggy from '98. Bojo Banton, uh, Junior Gang actually was the second touring act I've played with. First time I traveled it was with Dennis Browne. So main acts would be Dennis Browne, Junior Gang, Bojo, Tess and Chin. And I can't remember no more really. I've done shows with, I don't know if you know a female named Heather Headley. We did a show, Shaggy's band backed her up in which island was that? Antigua, one of those places. Yeah, it's an R&B act. You know what I'm talking? I don't remember her
uh,
song right now, but
no.
she had a big song, she had a big R&B tune. But she's from the islands. Um,
Okay.
I think her parents are from the islands, but she had a big. Look it up, Heather Headley.
All
Yeah, I don't
right.
remember. But yeah, those were the main Shaggy, Junior Gang. At the time, Junior, I keep saying Junior Gang and keep forgetting that. At the time when I was in the band, Junior Gang and Julian used to tour together. So they had the same band,
Okay.
and this is before Junior Gang Boss with Welcome to Jamrock,
Right.
that album. So it was really Jojo's band, Julian's band, and Junior Gang was part of the whole thing. So Gang used to open for Julian back in the day. This was 96 to
Okay. Cool.
98 ish. But yeah, those are really the main that I can remember offhand right now. Oh, Monty Alexander, Jimmy Cliff, and Morgan Heritage. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa. All right. I'm going to pick one, and you tell us. Let's pick Shaggy. How did you actually get the gig with Shaggy,
A friend of a
if
friend
you
of a
can
friend.
remember? Oh, a
Um,
link.
no, what happened was Shaggy's engineer at the time toured with Rita Marley, Shane Brown. So
Right.
Shane and I were on tour with the Marleys. So I was with Junior Gang and he was with Rita Marley. Right. So him know me and he knows me from being in the studio and all of that too. So when Shaggy's guitarist left the band and stuff, I was kind of like in between because artists are a lot of times there's no work and I was getting frustrated
Right.
working in the situation I was. And one day my father knew that frustration, so one day my father come to me and say, you want to work? So I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. It's like somebody go and call you. So
Oh.
apparently Shane Brown started working for Shaggy, and the guitarist left. So he asked my father, "Yo, what Roberta do?" Shaggy guitarist left and him now and come play. So that's how that happened. So
Right.
Fletcher called me actually. 'Cause Fletcher was the MD at the time. So Fletcher called
Right.
me and say, "Yeah, man, come, we could do a rehearsal and thing," and that was it.
Cool. Cool.
That was it.
And I can imagine that that's one of the pros of being a relative of great musicians, being in the family of great musicians.
Well, I guess so. I
Yeah.
don't know any difference. So make say I can't speak any differently.
Right. Awesome. All right. All right. We're almost to the end of this the talk. Dubwise. But I would like to know, how did you get the name Dubwise? Because I'm a bass player and I know once I hear Dubwise, it's bass and drum. So
Yeah,
how come you as a guitarist has a name Dubwise, Dubs? How did that
yeah,
come about?
before me tell you how me get it, so that confuse the hell out of me sometime. Imagine you name Dubwise and you up on stage, and artists have this way sometimes when they want your solo, them call their names. So sometimes when you hear Dubwise, me know says my time for solo. But then the same artist who want bass and drum and say Dubwise too. So then I'm like, do I what's happening? So sometimes it gets confusing. But anyhow, Shaggy gave me the name
Okay.
Dubwise, and it was the first show I was doing with him, the first time I ever traveled and did a show with him. Um, I guess he has a knack or a habit of giving people nicknames.
Okay.
So um, we did the first show, going to the next. This was Africa, by the way. Imagine the first time I fly out to the artist and where Africa I go. And we did the first show, flying to the next. And everybody in the airport, we're checking in on the flight, and we just see him say, "Me get it now, me have it." Everybody was like, "What you talk about, DJ?" It's like, "Him name man, Dubwise." So everybody was like, "Dubwise." So, me not understand. So I am typically not very talkative. I'm quiet. I really don't talk. So his thing was, she say him not no voice, him not talk, him not no voice. So you remember back in the day when you have 45 RPM records, you have the side A and the side B. Right, the side A have the song with the vocals and everything, and side B is usually the version or the dub wise because it have no vocals on it. So that's me. Me not have no vocals, so me is dub wise. That's how Shaggy
All
come up with the
right.
name. Yeah.
Interesting. Very
Yep.
interesting. Very interesting there, Dubwise. I would definitely be confused too. All right. I'm just gonna ask you now to tell us what are you working on at this time. I know things have slowed down because of the current pandemic, but how have you kept yourself busy? You know?
Well, um, busy trying to figure out this music industry and how to promote my records. Because I mean, in this time, if you're not promoting or figuring the best way for your thing to reach the masses, it not really makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
But besides figuring out how to promote, I just released a record 2 weeks ago, Cliff Marley Tosh. It's a
Wow.
cover of songs by Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, Peter Tosh. So I've been working on that, and I mean, last year I was working on another. I'm always working on something, so I am always keeping myself. There's always something to do. If I'm not doing anything, it's me choose say, yo, I'm not doing nothing today. But there's
Definitely.
always music to do. There's always projects. So, but more recently, it's focusing on promoting this record that just came out, and I was working on it for like the latter part of last year, into January, and just trying to figure out how to promote it, videos and all that. Plus, I've been doing this series with my father. If you know of his YouTube channel, Glen Reggae Basslines, I've been shooting some videos with him, tutorials, bass tutorials. So that
Awesome.
that is the next thing that has been taking up some occupying my time, I must say.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, Dubs, how can we reach you on social media?
Social media is my name right through. No funny characters or nothing like that. Robert Dubwise Brownie. So Instagram at Robert Dubwise Brownie. YouTube at Robert Dubwise Brownie. Facebook, same thing at Robert Dubwise Brownie. It's all consistent everywhere. Twitter, same thing. Um, yeah, that's pretty much. And my
All
website,
right.
first and foremost. The only thing with the website, it don't have the brownie on it. It says
Okay.
robertdubwise.com.
Awesome. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and subscribers. We are currently speaking with the great man, Mr. Robert Dubs Wise Brownie. All right, and at this time, No, you're gonna get ready for your presentation. All right. I know you have
Okay, sir.
a 10-minute tutorial or a 10-minute hack for us on the Music Hacks Network. All right. So can you give us a little topic that you brought?
Well, it's a simple topic. Is just how my approach to recording, because I do a lot of recordings at home for clients, and it's just to kind of give a quick overview of how I approach it and the tools I use and just my approach to doing a recording at home.
Awesome. All right, sir. It's over to you at this time for your presentation.
Okay, give thanks, sir. So for this presentation, I'll be using my trusty Gibson SG. Why is that? Because I have mostly reggae clients and this is a nice reggaeton guitar. I mean, I could have gotten a Les Paul, but everybody play Les Paul. Oh, by the way, that's why I play a Parker too, because not very many people play them. Anyhow, on to recording. Let me share my screen. So, good day. This is a Logic session. I've already set up the session. So, where is the guitar one is where I'll be recording. I have a song here that I have been messing with for a while. So I took the guitars off just to let you hear a bit of the song. So typically when I get a track to play on, first thing I do is I listen it down to get the vibe of the song. That's a no-brainer, right? But I know some musicians just hear this track and start play. But I have to hear it and figure out, all right, where do I go with the parts? So typically I would first get back to me. Typically I would check my guitar and see which tone I want. So I'd either see if that tone or this tone and play the rhythm to make sure, so you know which ones I think will sound better. I'll eventually choose one and then pretty much I record it and listen back to it. Something like this. Uh, so yeah, I'll record just exactly like what I just did, switching between the tones and so for tonight, based on the mood I'm in or whatever reason, I prefer this one. Yeah, forgive me, I'm running through it quite swiftly tonight. So after I make a decision, I will delete that and then play down this track from start to finish. In the essence of time, I'll skip the intro because we're not playing on this song for our client. We're just doing a demonstration. So I'm gonna play a couple bars of this and then show you the process of my processing. Instead of watching my screen, let's watch Dubs play, right? I forget to say one other thing. There are times when I switch guitar picks, I have a medium pick and I have a very hard pick. So it depends on what is feeling right and what is sounding good to me. I started with a hard pick now, but I'm going to continue with the medium one just for the heck of it. Right, and I'll do that for the duration of the track. Seeing if I can just find the Zoom window. Are you still with me? Yes. All right. Typically, I use a Waves plugin, GTR Tool Rack, which is already on the channel, right? Or I have Amplitude, but I'm not using that tonight. So this is a guitar without anything on it. I won't go through a lot of processing with this in the essence of time, but that's pretty much it. Waves GTR Tool Rack have options upon options, So sometimes I'll EQ the track itself, depending on what I'm hearing in Logic or whatever. But not tonight. So after I'm happy with that track, I'll add another track. So press a computer hold up right now. The dreaded beach ball. Okay. And that's it. I'll name the track and finger feel out different vibes until I come up with something that I like. So let's try that. Take out the chorus. Yeah, that's fine. It's not the greatest part, but in a sense of time. So we hit record and go again. Then we listen back to see if it makes sense. Sometimes I play a song and play some parts and take a break and come back and listen to it and like that's
Dubs,
yes sir.
I'm not seeing your screen, your video.
Oh for real? Oh shoot. Welcome to Jamaica. Back
Awesome.
in business.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes webcam decides say it a quit, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, sometimes I hear I take a break and come back and decide to change something, and then you have times where the client want to do something else. But that's typically it in a nutshell. I mean, the recording process. What you pay attention to is the level going in. I mean, I'm sure most of the people on here already have an idea of recording. Um, I wanted to mention specifically to say because I noticed a lot of youngsters nowadays going to the studio. Well, them not experienced, but still is something where them have to know. Recording is totally different from playing live in terms of your approach to the instrument because you have, so for instance, you play a rhythm guitar and I don't know my extent, but you play a rhythm guitar, right? Listen to the difference. I get that a lot with younger musicians. If you notice, somewhere louder, like the velocity was varied, right? When you're recording, you can't do that because you want a consistent performance throughout the track. You don't want get the engineer too much work, and it just makes for a better musician. So, if you look at my, if you look at my waveforms, they are pretty much consistent with each other. Zoom in there. Let me okay. All right, that this is a big guitar track. This is a rhythm track. So if you notice, it's a check cap, but it's not perfect because I'm human. Like it's not exact, but it's consistently within an average what you call it velocity range, right? It's not too. If you listen to it in the track, it's fairly consistent. One day a producer asked me, "Yo, you don't you a compressor?" I'm like, "No." Why you ask me that? Oh, because you will find them like all of them are the same thing. So that thing, and it is not only for guitar players, keyboard players, drummers. You are the worst thing for the on a session with a drummer. And sometimes you feel the kick drum, and the next time you don't feel it or even hear it. Same thing with the snare drum. You know what I mean? So youngsters in the recording, not even youngsters, because you have some big man who are consistent too. Because if you notice, I don't know if everybody knows this, but in America, they classify and they kind of categorize session musicians different from the live musicians. I don't remember it's which guitarist. Michael Jackson asked to play Power Dirty Diana, I think it was the track Dirty Diana. And the guitarist was like, "Oh man, I can't do it because I'm not a session musician. I only play live." You know, I think it's only Jamaica have a thing where every musician supposed to know how to record and how to play live. So with that being said, we should all know how to record properly meaning within our playing, you know what I mean, consistent. My father always talk about this note value, which is the duration of each note. If you're playing pop, 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 make it consistent all the time. You know, whatever works for the song that you're recording. But that's pretty much it in a quick, concise manner. Let's make sure say you play consistent. And this is pretty much how I approach recording, with many more tracks than just two, you know, because we always do several takes to please the client, or hopefully please the client, and hope that we get a call for do some more work, pretty much. But yes, Chris, I think that's it. You see, I can go on and on and on and on, but this is it in a nutshell, as simple as it is right there.
Awesome presentation, Sir Doves. I'm sure you enjoyed that. Yes, that was a great presentation there. The members of Zoom, they are applauding you, sir, because that was very great in terms of your delivery. And we want to thank you for taking the time out to come on the Music Hacks Network to come and do this hack for us in recording.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, man. Definitely. All right. So now is the time for us to go into our Q&A, where the fans, your family well-wishers, they get to ask you some questions that they have always been wanting to ask you. So I hope you are ready for this part of the show, Dubs. It's the most exciting part of the show. All right. So let us go to YouTube first of all and big up some persons who have joined the chat. All right. We have Queen Nash. Bless up yourself, Queen Nash. All right, always here with us on a weekly basis. She has her own YouTube channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to Queen Nash. We have One Drop, Jay. We have Desreen White Browne. Bless up, Desreen. Right, we have Brandon Martin. We also have Drummer Fish. We have the great man himself, Mr. Othniel Lewis.
Louis the Great, you know about?
Yes, man. We also have Mr. Ryan McCallum, my co-worker. Bless up yourself, Sir Mac. All right. And I'm sure some other persons are going to join after this. On Zoom, we have Darian.
Oh,
I hope
yeah,
Darian.
Yeah.
Right, Darian. All right. Mr. Novell Myers, Great Basie, Tristan Richards, and Israel Wright. Bless up, guys. Thank you for being a part of tonight's show. All right. Now, the guys on Zoom, I wanted to turn on your cameras, turn on your videos, and you're going to interact when it's your time to ask your questions. Each person is allowed at least 2 questions, all right, for the great man himself. All right. So while the members of Zoom are thinking of their questions, I know Darian is going to ask a question, right? Novell, Tristan, and Israel. All right. But on YouTube, Mr. Othniel Lewis is asking what factors influence the decision in approach and tone.
Wow. Earlier when I started the recording on this, I said I chose this tone because of the mood I'm in right now. I think a lot of times we all choose tone, and we approach music based on how we feel at the time. So a lot of the times I'll get a track and it depends on the mood of the track. Then I can choose, okay, do I want to go this way or that? Ask me the question again, we start talking and forget.
All right. He wants to know the influences, the factors that influence the decision in approach to your tone.
Is that recording or in general?
I'm not sure. Othniel, can you clear up that on YouTube?
I can answer both ways. All right.
Right.
In general, for my tone stage wise, what influences that is, I go for a certain tone. I can't explain it, but I see it in my mind, and when my ears hear it, it works. So the amp I'm working with, the guitar I'm working with, I expect to get a certain chemistry going between them. Even before effects or pedal get involved, the amp and the guitar have to work well together. Then I start listening to, effects and pedals and those things. So the tools influence the tone, and or based on the tools I have, I try to get the best tone possible, of how I want my guitar to sound. Because sometimes you go up on a show and you don't get the amp that you want. You try and work with what you have, but try to get the best out of it. In studio, the song dictates the tone pretty much. Like for instance, I could use the bridge twangy pickup for a rhythm guitar. Typically, if it's a, what do I call it, like a roots one drop reggae type of song, then that is usually the color for a guitar. It's very harsh, cutting, and that's only because that's what we grew up hearing, on Bob Marley records and stuff. The militant sound have a aggressive kind of chop. If it's a lovers rock or a rock steady type of song, I'll use a different pickup on the guitar, so it will have a smoother tone. So the answer to the question, as it relates to recording, is the song dictates, or the other colors dictate. Because if I'm on a studio session and it's a roots reggae song or whatever it is, and somebody playing a clavinet, right, and an organ that is within a certain frequency range, I have to find a frequency range for my guitar that fits within everything else. Makes sense. We find the same frequency range as the clav, or something else that is playing, because then I going to get lost in the mix, right? So it only makes sense to try and find my own space then, particularly in a studio setting and on stage. But more so in a studio setting, it's only right to find my own space. I take too long with that question. Ati, don't ask no more question.
No, well, there's also a follow-up to Oti's question. You say not only a tone, but your rhythmic patterns as well.
Wow, that's all feel, brother man. That's all feel. It as it relates to rhythmic patterns, I start playing until and whatever comes, and I start playing things until something feels right. Then I stick with that. So the what you see, this is another thing with young players that have seen and experienced that. I hope a lot of young players see this and pay attention. I listen to everybody else in the band. You can't just be playing you and listening to yourself. You are playing in a band situation. So I listen to what the drummer is doing. I listen to what the keyboard player is doing or what the bass player is doing. So I try and either, at times I'll try to contrast what they're doing, play, play on rhythms between them. And then there are times when I have to lock into the groove with what they are doing. So it all depends on what mood I'm in, what feel the whole group is playing. Then I can decide to do either, go either way.
Cool. All right, Dubs, you brought some songs to be played here. I don't know if you're ready to do one of those renditions.
Yes, ish. I mean,
Yes, man. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be entertained.
Wait.
You're not ready for us.
No,
All right.
I'm gonna switch this guitar.
All right, cool. The guys on Zoom, you're awfully quiet tonight. All right, I wanted to get into the conversation with Mr. Dubs this time. All right, we have a lot of brave persons on Zoom. All right, so after Dubs plays his piece, then we're gonna ask the members of Zoom to ask some questions.
Zoom quiet tonight.
Yes, man. Zoom. All right. Well, YouTube, yeah, a lot of questions on YouTube waiting for you, Sir Dubs, after this piece. All right. Yes, guys. So you are listening to the Music Hacks Network. All right. We are on YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube and you type in Music Hacks Network and you hit that subscribe icon and help us to grow this wonderful platform. It's all about musicians, all right? And I know a lot of persons want to see some singers, but definitely next year, hopefully, we're trying to expose our musicians at this time. So make sure you like all these videos and help us get in the YouTube algorithm, right? Are you ready, Sir Dubs?
Yeah.
All right.
My disclaimer is Chris set me up. Yeah, so what I prepared is I have one track, a backing track I created. And the idea is to show you all that over one specific sound or feel, you can approach it 3 different ways. So this first approach will be with my trusty acoustic guitar. And then if I get a chance to play again, I'll show you a different approach, but with the same backing track. So it's not a song, so no melody, it's just a vibe, and pretty much that's what's happening right now. So should I go ahead, Chris?
It's all yours.
That are it.
Yes, sir. The sound of Mr. Dubwise, Dubs, Browne, the extraordinary musician. All right, on the Music Hacks Network. That is an awesome tone, dear Dubs.
Yeah.
In just 30 seconds, tell us about this guitar and tell us, how you achieved that tone.
Oh,
all right.
This guitar, watched this guitar for a number of years. I wanted to get this guitar. It's a nylon string acoustic without the body. So in the arsenal you have to have the different colors. So this is my nylon string. I have a steel string guitar as well. So, but acoustic or classical guitars are very dynamic. So, and you can express a lot, with a guitar like this. As far as the tone, it's pretty much natural. I mean, I can't tell them a secret, party, a joke. I'm running through my HX stamp with a little bit of compressor and some reverb. But I mean, and maybe some EQ, I don't remember. But this guitar naturally just has a nice sound. But I added a compressor and some reverb to it, so you get a little vibe. Forgive the
Yeah, man.
my E string, but
Awesome.
earlier today, so is me keep on and spinning this, because
Yes,
these
man.
guitars take long for set the tuning,
Right, right.
so
Definitely.
it just a run and a run and a run. But yeah,
Definitely.
it's a nice guitar. I love it.
Yeah, man. Very, very nice. Expensive too.
If you call it that, I'm not tell you how much feet, but no, in
All
a way
right, that's
expensive.
fine.
In a way expensive.
Okay, cool. All right, we have Novel Basie Myers on Zoom with his question. Are you ready, Novel?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Turn on
That's
your
a good night.
camera and make the place lively. I hope you're somewhere tonight where you can turn on
Me
your.
only have one. Me only have 1% of battery up on the phone. So if me do that, me know say it a go shut off.
All right, run it, run it.
Yes. Sir Brownie,
Yes, sir.
blessings. Listening your style and how you play. Do you listen to a lot of George Benson?
No. For
You sound
I,
like George Benson, though.
for real, give thanks. It's a good
Yeah, man.
compliment. I mean, why I said no earlier is because growing up until maybe I was
Mm-hmm.
30 something years old, I never liked George Benson. And the only reason,
Oh, see?
the main reason is because I found a lot of black guitarists always try to sound like
Uh-huh.
George Benson. And my thing is, why
Oh.
everybody wants to sound like this one person? So many other guitarists about. So my taste was more, as I said earlier, my taste was more towards like a Lee Retinow, I'm pronouncing name. Who, if you know the group
Mm-hmm.
Four, he was a member of Foreplay. I'm actually realized I love all the guitarists who passed through the group Foreplay. So Lee Retinow, Larry Carlton, and Chuck Loeb are my three. I like West Montgomery, but the answer to your question is no. I never try study George Benson like that. But I me
Okay.
used to me used to listen to somebody who sound like him, which is Norman Brown. So Norman Brown swipe a whole heap of George Benson
Oh.
things. So I used to listen to him.
Yeah,
But
I realize
yeah.
because you have that nice tone and that nice sound when you play, you know?
Zine, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks.
Yeah, man. Secondly, you have a lot of upcoming musicians, young musicians coming up. What would be your advice to them in terms of how they play and how to reach to that level where you are at the moment?
I would not advise anybody to reach the level that I am at. I would advise
No, man,
everybody
meaning
to
to a level where them sound unique.
No, wait till me done talk. I would advise everybody to surpass my level. Yeah, if you
Okay.
understand what I try to say. So don't aim
Uh-huh.
for where I am. You have to try to be better than I am. And the only way you can get
That's true.
there, playing wise, you have to just practice. I remember this to me now don't sound like much, but I remember I used to
Mm-hmm.
practice 2.5 hours a day, like every day. But that was a long time ago. But you have to practice, you have to listen and just learn as much as you can. And then you will eventually come into your own. As I interviewed the other day with Marcus Miller, And he was saying, yeah, when you're growing up, you borrow things from people. You know, you say me sound like George Benson. So I borrow some of George Benson, I borrow some of China Spin, I
Mm-hmm.
borrow some of Hendrix and thing. But when
Mm-hmm.
all of that come together, it turned out to be me, you know. So it's the same thing with all the young players. So learn as much as you can. That is first thing. You know, never stop learning. That is the next thing. You know, and
True.
just practice and practice and practice. um I mean, Jamaica kind of strange now where well, the world kind of strange where live music is concerned now. But I was having a conversation with my brother the other day, and practicing is one thing. You can sit at home and practice and be the best. Your battery dead?
No man, but you still
Oh,
running.
you can be the best at practicing. You can be the best at home playing by yourself, playing with yourself at home, and shell Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
shell everything. And when you go up on a stage with a band, you pop down. So my advice too is
That's true.
try and get much in live playing with other musicians as possible. Because one of the reasons
That's true.
I one of the reasons I believe I grew so fast and can play so well is from I was growing up, I'm playing with people who are better than me. You know, every band me in a from where I grew up, every musician was an elder for me or a better musician than I was. So that pushed me for practice more. And because you know once I'll you know band with Desi Jones, you know when Desi Jones start cause you I you know say you gotta do something with Dean
True.
Fraser. You know and Dean look round for you and say, yo, get see what that you play. You know and that happened to you. So, you
True.
know, that was my experience. But I believe if the younger guys now get out and play more and not just practice at home as well, that will help also. So I think
Yeah, man.
strive
It's a
for
blessing
greatness
to
too.
have you on. It's a blessing to have you though on the Music Hacks Network this evening.
Yeah, man, give thanks. It's a pleasure to be
See?
here and
So
reason with the item.
yeah, man, we give thanks for that.
Bless up,
So I
man.
am going to allow other persons to ask questions still. So enough blessings to you, Sir Brownie,
Yeah, man,
and
big up,
continue to
brother.
do the great work you're doing.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Much appreciated, man. Much
Yeah,
appreciated.
man, enough
You can,
respect.
and let me say this: anybody can hit me up on social media and ask me anything. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or anything, and for whatever reason you have a question and say, how you do this or how do I get such and such, don't afraid to send me a message. Facebook
All
tricky
right, enough
because I
respect
don't
for
always
that.
check the messages, but I eventually check
Mm-hmm.
them. So yeah, man. So just reach out. Anybody can ask me anything at any point.
Yeah, man,
Bless
enough
up,
respect,
Novel.
Zin. Yeah, man, blessings, Sir Chris.
Yeah, man. All right. Daniel. Daniel Edwards.
Oh yes, good night.
Wow, Daniel,
That's something
man.
that thing
Welcome.
yesterday. Yes, yes. Um, so Mr. Brownie, can you show us your pedal rig, what it is like, and what is your
No,
normal setup and show us and stuff?
no. All
But
right.
you say we can ask you anything.
Yeah, I'm an answer. My answer. But all right, seriously. The first reason why I say no is that is not important. Let me tell you
Okay.
why. Just because I said it earlier, when Otte asked the question, and I always say this. My first thing, as it relates to getting a sound, is guitar
Mm-hmm.
and amp. No pedal or not come into play yet. If you can't get a good sound with the guitar and the amp, change one of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But right now, me using HX Stamp. This is what I use and with a wah pedal on
Okay.
stage right now.
Well, you
Um,
basically you need no more than that still.
right, but every I can tell you a specific patch setup, meaning my effects chain, my signal chain, because particularly for Shaggy Show, every song, how this pedal setup, it I can do the set list, and
Okay.
every song is a different set of pedals or a different
Mm-hmm.
chain. So it would have take all night for me to say, oh well, this song I have this, but the next song is so that
Sure.
wouldn't make any sense. But your question is what I use. This is what I use, and if, as me say, there have been situations where I reach our country, right? I've flown into a country, and my bag, because you can't travel with too many hand luggage.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to check my pedals in my suitcase.
Oh.
My suitcase not reach, so my pedal not reach. And there's also been a situation where I reached somewhere and the tech on the stage, not our guys, I don't remember which band that was, plug in my thing somewhere and burn it up. So when things like that happen, if you rely solely on your pedals for a great tone, you're gonna have a miserable night. So I always tell guitarists and I always try first, because most amps know it have reverb, right? So if you have a nice clean tone and you have a little bit of reverb and your guitar sound good, you can get a great tone. Just a guitar, and if you know how to use your amp properly, you can get a good lead tone too. Because most
Yeah.
amp make for breakup, most amp make, unless it's a JC 120 I use, which yeah, but most amp make for breakup. But the answer to your question is, this is my setup these days. I've been through the whole stamp boxes thing, which I use minimal stamp boxes because I don't like too much things to confuse me. Because if you have a whole, if you have say 8 pedals and something go wrong, the time it take you to figure out which pedal I get trouble during the set, you either miss your solo, miss a cue, something. So the least things for me that's in a chain to slow you up, or let me rephrase that. The easier it is for me to troubleshoot on the fly, is the better. So when you
Sure.
have less things, is less things to go through, is less things for troubleshoot. But
Let's
for
say
now,
the
right. Less nervous breakdown on stage when everybody look for you and wait for you and wonder what's going on. Every couple of years, I change my rig. That's the next thing. Every couple of years, I get tired. I want to have and try something else. So for now, it's this Line 6 HX stamp, and it's beautiful. I've been using Line 6 products for a while. They
okay.
make good guitar stuff. But for now,
So
it's
you use
just go ahead.
so you use I wanted you to finish the statement, but you use like nines or ten. What gauge strings like?
All right. When I just got this Parker, I was
Mm-hmm.
using nines. So for years I used nines on my guitars. And then there's a guitar that never bring out. I have an Epiphone that has 11s on it. I'm gonna start like the 11s. But these guitars not really suit 11s, so I'm gonna switch these back to 10s. So most of my guitars now have 10s and one guitar has 11s on it. Nines, especially with these guitars, tend to sound thin. You can it easy for play, and you can do all
Mm-hmm.
these crazy bends and stuff, but um it can sound a bit thin, especially as I say with these pickups, with these guitars who have the Marzio pickups. These pickups
Mm-hmm.
are not very warm. So
Okay.
answer to your question, I use 10s now on most of my guitars and 11s on one particular guitar.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yeah man, big up yourself, Daniel.
All right. Bless up Fred Thompson on YouTube. Bless up Fred. All right.
Big up
Um,
Fred.
yes, man. All right. So we're gonna take your second piece shortly, Dubs. But I saw Darian at one point. He was trying to turn on his video. I wonder if he's ready at this time. Darian, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Night Dubs. Quick question. Where
Blessings
can I
be.
get a shirt?
um, message me.
All right. And how I know you have, children or a child. What influence do you think you had on his choices in terms of where he goes in music?
I'm assuming you're talking about Salim. I'm pretty you'd have to ask him that question, because I mean, let me say it this way. I remember my son, for those who don't know, Chris, my son Salim Browne, he plays bass like him grandfather and him uncle.
Right,
So
cool.
my influence, I guess, when he was maybe 3, I remember taking him to basic school. He was maybe between 3 and 5 years old, and there was a CD usually playing on the car, some Bob Marley song, and Salim would just be singing the bass lines. So, like usually, is a child and I don't really pay much notice, but then I saw the consistency, him always I sing the bass line them. So I say, so the youth I like bass, I go buy him a bass, and that was it. So I bought him a little bass and have him do lessons, and him I play bass now. Good musician.
Why did you choose the guitar over the bass, since your dad plays bass?
Because my brother already played bass. So Shams played bass. And we were actually a rhythm section, so bass and drum, really. And that was really cool when I was growing up. Before I reached 8, no, before I was maybe about 11 now. So in age from 5, 6 to about 11, I was playing drums.
Oh.
But I switched to guitars because Daddy sent a guitar up the house because he always say a bass player must learn to play guitar because it helps his hands strength and knowledge of chords. Because my father, as a bass player, he plays some guitar, so he have the knowledge of guitar as well. So the guitar came to the house, but my brother wouldn't play it. He never interested in that. So I used to take it. He used to just take it up. And then it turned out to be a thing where instead of me setting up my drum kit and a beat drum in my mother's ears at the time, me and my brother could sit quietly on the bed, me a strum and him a playing bass. And that became more frequent until I just stopped playing drum. So that's how I ended up with guitars.
All right, thanks.
Big up yourself, D.
We talk.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bless up, Darian. Where are you from, Darian?
Oh, Kingston. Originally from Westmoreland, but yeah.
Awesome. All right. Do you play as well?
No,
while Dubs is setting up.
I'm more into sound mixing.
Huh?
I'm more mixed.
Oh, you're more into mixing. Yeah. Okay, nice. All right. You have any products out that you have mixed?
No, not really. It was never published.
Okay. All right. I hope you work on that for the rest of the year, though.
We see.
All right. Awesome. Bless up yourself, sir. All right. Are you ready, Sir Dubs?
Well, my question. So
yes, man. This is such a wonderful show. Very entertaining. All right.
So yeah, as I said before, same track. Trying a different approach with a different tone scheme. So let's see what I come up with. Let's
Dubs
say.
on the Music Hacks Network. That's awesome, bro. All right, awesome,
Give
awesome
thanks.
tune. All right, we have one more from Daniel Edwards, and then we're gonna finish with uh, there's an unanswered question from there was Oti. Oti was asking about your choice of inversions. I think in the presentation, so I'm gonna ask you to address that after Daniel, and then you will play the final piece, and then we'll be out of here. All right,
Cool. So
Daniel.
Say Scapa was putting the clap on thing.
Oh, you were clapping for Dubs. All right, so not a problem. All right, all right. So on the matter of inversions, Dubs, can you
what
address
was the
that?
question again?
He
What
was
did he
asking
ask?
your choice of inversions that you used
For
in the
on the piece that
presentation.
um honestly I you see, because this is not a song. I mean, it's just a progression that going on. Anything that come to mind, I just go for it. So I'm not thinking, really and truly, I'm not thinking what I'm playing. I'm just, there's no thought process to what I'm doing. I'm just trying not to repeat myself. But yeah, there's no thought process as far as I'm going to use this over this or this here. Maybe I should start thinking that way, Ati. But yeah, it's just I know where the notes are on the guitar. Like, I pretty much hear it before I play it. I remember my brother asked me that one time, like, how you know where I gonna play? And it's like a split second before I play it, I hear the note, so I know where I intend to go, pretty much. But it's not a thought process as I am going to play this inversion because it sounds good over this. Is not like that. It's more as, let's just go here and see what happens, really and truly. That's pretty much how I play it typically. There are times when I say, all right, let's do this because it will sound nice. But tonight, it's not that. Tonight, it's like, let's just take it and see where it goes, kind of thing.
All right. Awesome, awesome, Sir Dubs. Before you go, and you're gonna play your final piece. But is there anything that you have not said? I know we have said a lot that you would like to add to tonight's conversation. That you would like to say, especially to the young guys who are coming up and persons who are emerging in the industry.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is go out and stream my album, Cliff Marley Tosh. It's
All
available
right.
now. I mean, if you don't have no money, like, you don't have to download it, you don't have to pay for Apple Music, you don't have to pay for Spotify. It's on YouTube Music, which is free. If Jamaica don't have YouTube Music, if you type up the album title in YouTube, it will populate and you can play and listen the latest release. As far as
Yeah.
youngsters, that's the same thing as I told Novel. Just practice, practice, and learn as much as you can. Um, Somebody always said this though. Outside of practicing and being the best musician you can be, you have to learn how to fit in as well, because sometimes that can determine whether or not you keep a job. And I remember a situation that I was in once. I was with a band, and for a short stint, they got another guitarist to do a run with them. And it's not Shaggy Band, Zine. So me just put it out there, so don't think it's Shaggy Band me talk about. So yeah, I was with a band in the early days, and something did go on, and they decided to go with a different player on a tour. And as them come off of the tour, so them call me back and say, "Yo, Robbie, you have to come to this, cause we can't deal with that brother there." So you have to know how to fit in as well as you can
All
do it.
right.
So
Definitely.
that too, and just learn as much about the business, because the next thing what we all have to learn is the playing part is just, is maybe 10% of the whole thing. I mean, you're a creative, you're gonna have intellectual material. Same reason why Chris now I'm play my song on film show. You have to be savvy of copyright and those things, and you have to
Right,
copyright
true.
your own intellectual material so that you can get paid. You understand me? You can just play for. Yo, my thing is, don't try to run back an artist the whole of your life. It goes nowhere. That is my opinion. I know somebody who will disagree with me, but my thing is, so dubs, play back an artist. So yeah, but we put out albums too. If you depend upon artists for earn, that is like depending on somebody else for your bread. Record for yourself. If you don't have it in you to be a solo act, then produce or arrange, write some songs, something. God never gave the talent just for you stand up behind an artist every day. No, there is much more to you being a creative person than giving your talent to an artist. Nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong. I am merely speaking from the perspective of what are you going to do in your life. All right, if you are not the kind of person to go out and do a 9 to 5, because you have musicians like that who them no mind go drive truck, them no mind stay in an office and do music, part time or whatever it is. But if you are the kind of creative that only wants to do music, you cannot do it so you can make a living by touring with artists alone, but you're not gonna get to where you feel like life is good and comfortable because artists not always go up on tour. That's the first thing, unless you tour with 5 different artists who always are work, or unless you tour with Sting. But yeah, so do something for yourself, whatever it is, try and do something for yourself. So have your own intellectual material out there making money for you, and learn the business. It is very important to learn the business that you're in.
All right. I really appreciate that, Sir Dubs, and I would definitely like to thank you for taking the initiative to come and present on the Music Hacks Network tonight. All right. I'm going to put you one more time on the spot. I was thinking that how can I allow Dubs to be on this show and do not play the Parker, right? A guitar that has been one of my main instrument of admiration for all these years. I don't know if your next tune, all right, suits the Parker, but I know you are a versatile musician, so I would definitely like to hear the Parker Flyer. All right, guys, and I would definitely like to thank all the persons who came out to support Dubs tonight. All right, all the persons who are on YouTube, thank you for watching this live stream on the Music Hacks Network. All the persons on Zoom, thank you for turning out tonight. It was a wonderful show and I did enjoy your company. All right, remember to subscribe to the Music Hacks Network and help us to grow this wonderful channel. All right, help us to grow in the YouTube algorithm. Are you ready, Dubs? All right, Dubs, tune in.
Yeah, yes,
all right.
I should be ready.
Yes, man.
That's
so
one of the beauties about this guitar too. More put it on for all 2 months and take it up and it perfectly in tune.
Definitely.
All Parker guitars, always.
Yes. All right. I also know that the guitarist in my band, Mr. Devon Cat Browne, he's gonna appreciate this because we always talk about the Parker Flare.
Oh,
all right.
Cool.
So
cool. Yeah, man.
Yes, man. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, to take us out tonight, Mr. Robert Dubwise.
Yes,
Browne.
So give thanks for having me and everything. Again, same track, different approach. gibberish, but give thanks.